In a world where the truth isn't always what it seems, four masters of real estate step forward to help put the E first in the word true. TREU. Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. And now, here's the Fantastic Four of Real Estate with their host, Tom Platania.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another great edition of Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. That's TREU Radio, TREU Radio. We're trying to change the way you look at the word true by educating you first and help to broaden your horizons. Make sure that you don't become a statistic like people did back in, 2004, 2005, or 2006?
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. Can you imagine if even half of those people had sat down with the right person ahead of time? Imagine where we actually would have been. You know, everybody probably be a lot.
And
wealthier.
it was a failure at so many levels. Obviously with the mortgage industry, with just people. People want to blame one side or the other. But I think what's really important is that people there were bad decisions made by the banks in giving the loans, but you had people. They knew they couldn't afford that stuff. When people say they were taken advantage of, yes, they were, and I think people should be held accountable for what happened. But when you're $70,000 a year and you're buying a $400,000 house,
exactly,
you should have known you can't afford that.
Oh yeah, but
first of all, you should if you're in a marriage relationship and you're basing your buying power on two incomes.
Yeah.
The smart way to go would be to base your buying power on your highest income of the two, because then you always have that second income to follow in and come back on should something happen.
Everybody wants to live above their means instead of
always.
Champagne
Always,
taste
always.
on beer budgets.
Yep.
And then the more money we get, I'm real big. I love reading, and I've read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm reading it again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what it talks about. Is people,
exactly.
They go out, they get educated, they get these these big huge jobs with all these incomes. But the more their income goes up, the more the raises come. They just keep increasing their expenses.
right?
And getting these huge houses.
It was a combination, I think, of everything back then.
Yeah.
I mean, I did mortgages for 25 years, and it really was a big combination, because it was the mortgage companies telling you that we can do this. It was the people who wanted to live in the me generation because they thought, wow, this economy is going to continue strong, our income's going to go up, and all of a sudden, it fell.
Yeah.
It had to fall. The bubble had to break.
Yeah, eventually.
And things were made to be so easy, like we talked about in a couple of shows before. There were companies out there with $1,000 down. You can have a brand new $300,000 house built,
Right.
and then people were talking to other people and said, "Oh, I made $10,000 on this flip, $20,000 on this flip." And they went around and started buying properties, thinking that they were going to be an investor.
Yeah.
And they got stuck.
Yeah, I know some realtors that actually ended up doing that.
So
that
do
got
I.
into the
I know
business and they
some.
went and bought,
Yeah.
and they ended up holding just a huge set of cards.
I mean, they even got to the point where they were having lotteries. Remember when that
Yes.
complex in Eastlake Village?
Yep. That was interesting. That was
People
very
were
interesting.
killing each other for
A lottery. What's that? Tell
Yeah,
me.
what was
lottery.
that?
Well, what happened is, let's say, for instance, there's 500 units.
Right.
Everyone put in paperwork, and then they would select the 500 out of a batch of whatever. Kind of like, put them in a hat.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's pick out the 500. And then the winners of those 500 would quickly sell their it wasn't even
units.
built yet, but they would sell
There
the
was
house to
other
someone
option.
else. Yes, exactly. So it was
Unreal.
yeah, I mean, they were selling out whole communities in 2-3 days.
Well, if you folks, if you
That's
want to
the day.
watch or listen to TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, you can always go to we have an absolutely incredible website that go to TREURadio.com. That's TREU Radio.com. You can actually watch us live in the studio. You can chat with us. We have a wonderful chat room. This way, if you want to be a little anonymous, some people are on the shy side. They're not all like us, just willing to just talk, and be in front of a camera. And But some people don't. So you don't have to log in. Nobody will know who you are. And if you want to ask questions, we got a great topic today. We always have great topics, but today we're actually going to have Richard Stratman with Protect Security, Authorized ADT dealer, who's going to be with us a little bit later on, talking to us about, well, you're spending. We're talking about these big investments, and you spend all this money to purchase such a large asset, and well, you need to protect it. Especially, it doesn't matter where you live. You
Right.
could be in the poorest or the richest community. You know what? There's always going to be somebody that's going to be brave enough to try to take what you have.
Most definitely.
And so by making sure that you're protected and knowing, when I had him on my show, my other Comfort Time live show, about a month or so ago, and some of the stuff he was telling me about, this the easiest ways people break into homes.
Yeah.
You guys keep your garage door openers in your car?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if I was just to, Jimmy, open your car, push the garage door button
Get
open.
in the house, yeah.
And how many of us always lock our door that goes from our inside of our garage to our house? Well, we feel comfortable because we got our garage door closed.
Right.
I'm okay with that. So I when I had my house like that, I left the inside door from the garage to the house open. I never thought about it. Well, somebody opens your garage door by pushing a button, walks right into your house.
Right.
You won't even know that they were there.
It's a nice part about having dogs.
Well, what's funny is that's actually one of my favorite security misconceptions is the dog. People feel like, especially if it's a bigger dog, they're like, unless it's a trained guard dog, forget it. If you've ever seen that TV show, To Catch a Thief, the guy says that. He goes, everyone feels so comfortable because they've got a German Shepherd.
He brings some food with him.
He walks in the door, throws a steak on the floor,
Exactly.
pets the dog on the head, and proceeds to rob the
Right,
house.
exactly.
So
And the dog's helping him. Yeah, come here.
dog's
Actually,
licking him.
we had an instance in our neighborhood that happened. We think it was probably local teenage children
Right.
that were out in the neighborhood at night just having a ball.
Yeah.
And Cleve had left his truck out in the yard, unlocked. Luckily for us, they didn't pop the garage door, but my dogs were having a fit because they knew that there was somebody outside.
Right.
We didn't pay attention.
Oh.
We didn't pay attention. So, anyway, to say what happened is they took everything that was in the truck and threw it outside in the yard. It was all over. We found it in the street. They were just being kids.
Just being
But, think about that. And it was shortly thereafter that I put an alarm system in.
Yeah, and that's a smart move, especially having one that's monitored instead of just buzzing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And not only that, guys, it's a deduction on your homeowner's insurance. It
Oh, it
gives you a
is.
break on your
Oh, that's
homeowner's
true. Yeah,
insurance
yeah,
because you've got an
absolutely.
alarm that's monitored. It does need to be monitored.
It does. Okay, great.
Well,
One of the things that I do have a bit of a concern about is you see the ads now for the really high-tech security companies where they're like, you can watch your
Right.
children coming and going, when they've come and, when
Oh,
they
yeah,
got home
right
from
from your
school,
smartphone, the ladies
look
on the
at-
plane.
You see the kid waving at her mom in the camera. When I was a kid, I would have hated that. I mean, come on.
Are you saying you weren't a good boy?
No, but not having an
No
hour
cameras
in the day,
in Scott's
having
room.
1 hour in the day that your parents didn't know where you were felt special
Yeah.
as a kid. And now they have trackers on your
Oh,
cell. My
yeah.
brother knew exactly where his daughter was, like even if she was out at a barn party.
Yeah,
because he had a
that's
tracker
too
on his cell phone.
micromanage.
That's just-
That is too. But
you don't have any children yet.
No.
I could definitely tell that. Yeah.
And I get that aspect of it, but as
If
a kid,
if my two daughters, my 18 and 16-year-old, who are skinny as a rail, long brown hair, both model material. Okay, if they lived at my house with me, I would have those parole violee straps on their ankles. I'd have the head count, the helmet cameras on them so I could see everywhere they're going. Do any of you guys watch Netflix?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, House of Cards. Have you been watching? Any of you guys
No,
watch
I've
that?
never watched
I'm not a political guy, so I hesitated to put this thing on. I'm hooked. And I Googled this morning, how true to life is this show to the actual political world? I couldn't find any really good answers, but I'm hooked on this thing because it's just all the corruption. And I'm
What are
asking,
you saying, Tom?
I'm asking myself, is it really that true? I mean, obviously, it can't, they're going to, make some things a little bit bigger than they are. But I'm looking at this and I said, you know what? I bet you that stuff's happening every single day.
Oh, I'm sure.
Who's greasing the palm of who at what to get something done?
You think?
Yeah.
Really? You think?
You know, every day after you watch like episode of The Daily Show, you know, Jon Stewart, you go, really? There's that much more corruption? But the one thing that really recently brought me back to saying, hey, I'm so much more glad that I'm here than anywhere else, you know, being in America, was watching the Olympics and what was going on.
Right.
I mean, we may be corrupt, but we're nothing like the Russians. I mean, they had they had facades of hotels put up with nothing behind it.
Oh, no way. Really?
The rooms they showed the bathrooms were all like communal bathrooms. There was nothing even in between. You had to sit there next to the guy next to you. You know, the water in the hotels, they told you not to drink and not to use on your face.
Okay, that's safe.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like, at least we have problems.
At least we can wash our face.
Yeah, I can wash my face.
And this is what was
shower.
set up for the people for the Olympics?
Yep.
Well, weren't they saying that like there was one Olympian that was living in a trash can or something like, or went and bathed in a trash can? Is that? I thought I had heard that.
I didn't hear that.
But
yeah, I thought I had heard. Oh, but yeah, I guess we.
But again, part of it's propaganda.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to take it with a grain of salt what you believe, you know, and the media that it comes out with. I thought the Olympics were great this year. I think that our
they
people
over?
in the United States,
Oh, they are.
We did
goes to show you how much
great
I watched
job.
them.
Yeah, me too.
It was a great job. I mean, it was wonderful to watch, and look forward to 4
Yeah,
years
it's
from
just
now.
kind of lost its nostalgia for me. I don't know. Maybe I just don't know.
Well, the next summer one's in Brazil, and
Right.
I'm saving up for that.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
I would
You wanna
love
go?
I would love to go to Rio for the Olympics.
They're not good looking.
Are you
women
going
in
there for
Brazil.
I was going to say, are you going there for the Olympics or?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
Can't you tell?
Is it going to be a business write-off? Are you looking at real estate while you're there?
Look at me. You can tell I'm really into athletics.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
That's what I was wondering. I thought maybe you were going to compete or something.
Curling. They do that during the
Oh,
summer.
Yeah.
don't
God.
they?
No, curling is in the winter.
Okay, why is curling an Olympic sport, but football's not? Okay, why?
Well, football has a team. I mean, it's a long process where
I mean,
curling is
curling.
not that long.
I mean,
Being a Canadian, I mean, curling, I was raised with
it's
curling,
huge, yeah. So I'm like looking at this thing and I'm watching. I'm like, really? Is this what we've reduced ourselves to? Is that's an Olympic sport?
You know,
It is.
I didn't get
Really
curling until I moved to Chicago, but
Right.
because it's so close to Canada and
Right.
up in the
Yeah.
Midwest, it's popular up there. But what I loved was the traditions. When you went to the curling, what do they call it, a sheet, I think. If usually when most sports I played, the loser buys the beer at the bar after.
Okay.
At the curling clubs there, the winner
buys.
has to buy the beer.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly beating everybody else, you still have a little negative by you always having to buy everyone else drinks.
Oh,
and I thought that's
geez.
kind of a cool tradition.
yeah,
You know?
switch that around.
So if you don't have any money, you lose.
Hey, if you folks would like to call into the show, you can give us a call here at the studio. It's 772-220-9788. That's 220-9788. And we got a great show for you here today. And we have Richard Stratman, who's going to be joining us here in just a minute, who is your ProTech Authorized ADT dealer, to help talk to us about, well, how to keep that investment protected. Not only with just homeowners insurance, but hey, let's find a way to stop these people from coming into our houses, invading our personal space and privacy, and see what we can do about that. So you're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed TREU Radio. I'm Tom Platania here with Mr. Andrew Sesta, Carol Morgan, and Scott McAllister. But before we go real quick, I want to say that our hearts and prayers go to Mr. Farouk Ali, who is our other co-host, who is unfortunately not here with us this morning. His mother passed away.
Mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law, I apologize. So to his wife and family, our hearts go out to them.
Absolutely.
And he's back up in New York now. So, but I appreciate you listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. We'll be back in just a minute with Mr. Richard Stratman.
Customer service and great rates. That's what you get with Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Remember, everyone's just one torrential downpour away from a flood. And with rates as low as $129 per year, why would you not get coverage? Call 772-233-4444 or email flood@atlanticinsurance.us and save hundreds on all your insurance needs. That's 772-233-4444, 233-4444 for Atlantic Insurance Advisors. Are you selling your home, wondering how you're ever going to move all your belongings? Well, don't wonder. Call the trusted moving professionals from Mr. Small Move. Their staff of full-time movers are ready to take the stress out of your next move. Mr. Small Move will safely pack, move, then place and assemble your belongings at your new location. So if you're moving, call the trusted professionals at Mr. Small Move. For a free estimate, call 283-5540. That's 772-283-5540 for Mr. Small Move. Has a recent foreclosure, bankruptcy, or short sale spoiled your credit? Fidelity Funding may be able to help. Their hometown lenders are specially trained to work with your credit history to find the perfect loan program and get you back on track. Even if credit is no problem, Fidelity Funding offers many dynamic loan programs. Call Fidelity Funding on the Treasure Coast at 772-237-5211. They work day in and out with realtors in your community to find you the house you love. Call 237-5211 for Fidelity Funding. Every 13 seconds, a home intrusion is committed in the United States, with property loss totals in the billions. Take action today to prevent it from happening to you with ADT, protecting homes and businesses for more than 136 years. Protect Security is your authorized ADT dealer on the Treasure Coast. Call Richard Stratman today at 772-708-2691. Protect Security and ADT, offering peace of mind security 24/7. Call today, Protect Security, 708-2691. Dramatic change invites invigorating new energy. Let Decorating Den Interiors create a dramatic change in your home's decor. They'll create a look that's important to you. Begin your home's gorgeous transformation by calling Decorating Den Interiors on the Treasure Coast at 692-8589. Visit their waterfront design studios on Southeast Osceola Street, downtown Stuart, and online at StewartDecorator.com.
You are listening to WSTU, Stuart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound, Martin County's Heritage Station.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tom Platania, your host, and you're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. That's TREU Radio, TREU. You can give us a call here at the studio, 772-220-9788. In the studio with us, we have Mr. Scott McAllister, Carol Morgan, and Mr. Andrew Sesta. But we have Mr. Mr. Richard Stratman on the phone with us this morning from Protect Security, the authorized ADT dealer. Young man, how are you this morning?
Fine and dandy, and it sounds like everybody in that studio is alive and ready to go.
We are. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, Richard.
Good morning.
My man, Richard.
Ladies and
morning.
gentlemen, this gentleman is a spitting image of Zig Ziglar.
The Zig Man.
I mean,
yes,
just
definitely.
clean cut, the way he stands, the way he presents himself. I mean,
And the energy.
Oh,
the
just
energy that
amazing.
Richard gives
And I'd like
off
to know
is-
how you got that tan.
That's a secret.
ancient Stratman secret, huh?
Yeah, that's called trying to break 100 on a golf course.
Aha! Oh, I definitely would have a tan if I tried doing that. So, Richard, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Everything is fine and dandy, fit as a fiddle, and you all just sound fantastic.
Wonderful. We really appreciate that. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed, we have Mr. Richard Stratman with us, who is from Protect Security, authorized ADT dealer. Now, Richard, what got you into this business?
Well, you know, many years ago, we had several break-ins at this establishment, and consequently, I felt that probably offering a service like this to the public with a quality company such as ADT would be a service to the community and mankind in general.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. You obviously, the reason you're one of our guests and partners with us is our realtors here. They use you all the time and recommend you for an obvious reason. You know, have you folks have you had experiences with Richard?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Yeah, Richard's a great guy. Very informative, and he's very low key. He's not the salesman type where he'll be knocking down the doors or trying to sell a product that
press hard 5 copies.
yeah that you don't really need. He really takes a quality assessment of your wants and needs and goes from there. He's very laid back. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to, as we spoke about last week when we were saying about the community and people who give back, Richard absolutely is one of those people. When we had our big Kane Center Christmas fund, he donated quite a bit of money to really help us out, and he helped put us over the top. And I'd definitely like to thank him again for that.
Absolutely.
That was great.
You're welcome.
Great.
No
And see, that makes a difference between companies in the neighborhood, where they're just out to make a buck, or they're willing to take that and give back to the community that they're serving.
Right. He gives back in many ways. It's not just the Kane Center. There's a lot of things that he does that helps just everybody in the community, the agents, the community, the Kane Center. It's great. Keep it up, Richard.
What more could you ask for but protection? I mean, we all have families. We all work hard and buy, valuables and stuff like that. And, just having that comfort of that protection over you, it's almost priceless.
Even if nobody breaks into your house, just knowing that
knowing
it's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's the question I really wanted to ask. I get this a lot when we're looking at this is Scott talking, by the way, Richard. When people are moving into a condo or into, I was just showing a house in Mariner Sands where it's gated community, they say, why should I bother with any kind of monitoring or burglar system? And one of the things I tell them, I'm like, there's a lot more to it than that. So, what are the things that you would offer to somebody in an already secure community that would still give them value?
Well, Scott, that's a great question. And, actually, if we all sit down and think about that a second, a gated community is fantastic, but so many of those gated communities have the front gate protected, and the sides, the other three sides, you can walk into those things through the bushes off the street. So there still is an element of exposure there. But, of course, the things that we do offer, in addition to the intrusion factor, is that we do have fire protection, which, in the event of anything like that, yes, your homes do have the fire protection, the sirens that go off, and that's all they do. With our system, of course, it's not run on batteries, number one, but most importantly, whether you're at home or whether you're not, if there's an incident that takes place, the fire department is going to be called. That's a big plus factor. And also we do a lot of carbon monoxide monitoring. And then you get into some of the other systems we have. You've got cameras in the house. You can run those systems anywhere in the United States. It's the electronics and the upgrades and the technology today with these systems offers a great deal of protection. Is it going to keep everybody out? Absolutely not. Somebody wants to get in a house, they'll be able to do so. But in the event that does happen, there's going to be somebody notified. Sirens are going to go off and hopefully deter someone that does get in enough to leave before they do any damage or take a great deal of items.
Exactly.
Richard, this is Carol.
Hi, Carol.
I just came across, good morning, I just came across that client who was telling me a little bit about that, how we have power losses here pretty often with storms. And they were telling me a little story about how they have a cell phone now in their attics instead of connecting to your telephone lines, because if somebody was trying to break into a house, they literally could cut your phone lines and it would disarm your monitoring system. But with the cell phone now, you don't ever have that problem. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, the thing that, and that, Carol, that's a new item on the market relatively. So it's been out only about 3 years. And you're absolutely correct, and you took my thunder. Great job. But
sorry.
Anyway, the thing that is unique with those is that if somebody does, and it eliminates cutting any phone lines, then there isn't any way you can stop a signal from going to Central Station. And of course, the nice thing with a cell phone, as far as outages and so forth, it doesn't seem we have as much frequency with issues sending that signal to Central Station from the house with the cell phone system. Another thing I'd like to mention: a number of clients, when you converse with them, they think the cell phone is integrated into your cell phone. All that cell phone system does is strictly send a signal via the airwaves to Central Station. Once Central Station has received that call, then they do their thing with another mode of communication.
Great.
Now, how is that? Are those just satellites or local towers?
No, our ADT at the central station, they'll go through landlines, or if there's an issue with landlines, we do have towers. And one thing that we are extremely pleased with ADT, that there are 5 central stations throughout the U.S. in 3 different time zones. So if you ever have an issue in one of the central stations, the lines are filled, with fiber optics, it's immediately transferred within milliseconds to the next station.
What kind of a cost differential is between a cell phone and just a hardline wire in?
It's about $200. Yeah, about $200. So that system on the market, if you bought it, would run about $2,800, and you can go into that system connected to central station for $299. It's extremely reasonable, and of course, the wonderful thing that we have set up, I feel, and of course love Keller Williams and love the agents there, is that all of the clients do get a healthy discount when they use us as far as equipment and services are concerned.
Through Keller Williams agents.
So if there's anybody out there listening today, just give Keller Williams' name.
Richard, this is Andrew Sesta. How are you?
Hi, Andrew. How are you today?
Great. How are you doing?
Good.
Listen, I just want to go over, a lot of people think that it's an expensive, thing to look at when they're looking at security and, the systems and monthly monitoring. Can you just give us like a brief rundown of your packages?
Sure, absolutely. First of all, on the basic, as Carol mentioned a second ago, the basic hardwire system. And here's the thing I don't understand. We just spent $300,000 with you to buy a new home, with any of you. And I come in there, and for $1.05 a day with that landline system, we can protect your house.
That's less than a cup of coffee.
$1.05 a day. Yeah, well, less than a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
especially Starbucks.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, you got protection for a week and a half.
The cup of Doca Laca Chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you go to the cell unit, it'll cost you about $1.40 a day. But once again, you do have the protection with the cell unit that eliminates any lines being severed.
Oh yeah, because all the thieves listening to us now that heard us said that just cut the phone line, you can get in.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is on a phone line system, there is no on a cell phone system. There's no extra phone bill like we all know. We get a phone bill.
No, ma'am. No. That all that system does is strictly transmit a signal to central from the residence. No.
Nice.
Cool.
And then we go into the Pulse, which is the one with the cameras, and we can unlock doors. You've got a running history. Yeah.
And the ones that keep an eye on Scott when he's not coming home on
That's
time.
not a good boy.
He doesn't like to be monitored.
What was
we just
Scott
figured that
doing
out.
that he didn't want to be monitored, huh?
The only thing we don't want to do is put the cameras in Scott's bedroom.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I think he has one.
Oh, well, I better tune into that channel.
Yeah, just be careful when you Google his name.
And that's why he left his mom and dad's house.
Well, we got an eye on him anyway.
Okay.
Oh, that's classic. That is classic.
Those systems will run about right around $2.25 a day to operate.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
For the full shebang with wow, that's still is dirt cheap compared to, just one robbery, one person trying to break into the home, or let's say you have a child at home and something happens to them.
Well, if you had a nanny, what a great way to see what's going on in the house.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's not what they take; it's just that invasion of your privacy.
Yep.
I mean, I had a business in Port St. Lucie that was broken into twice before I finally decided to get ADT, and. You just feel violated.
Yeah.
You're wondering, like, when you open the door and you run through the house or at that time the business, and I would go check every room to see if someone was hiding out.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
At nighttime, the same thing. Make sure everyone left, and it's just an awkward feeling to walk into a house and that somebody would kind of rampage through.
Yeah, taking your stuff.
Well, Andrew, not to interrupt, but we've had 2 break-ins, attempted break-ins here at the house. This has been 4 years ago. If Glenda and I go out and come back, we still check all of the closets, even with the security system.
Exactly.
The closets, everything in the house, just to make sure.
Yeah, because you get kind of traumatized from something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And but you feel better if you have the protection ahead of time. And if you're listening, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. TREU Radio, TREU Radio. You can always go to our website, TREURadio.com. So if you'd like to find out a little bit more about Mr. Richard Stratman and his Protect Security Authorized ADT dealer, he's actually on our website. You want to click on our partners page, and you'll see all the information, contact information. Richard, if somebody wanted to get in contact with you to have you come out and talk to them about protecting, well, probably one of their biggest assets they have, well, how would they do that?
Well, I have a website, www.treasurecoastadt, that you could do so. You could certainly call any of these top-producing Keller Williams agents, and I think they would know how to do that.
Do you know any?
Just several you have there close by. I think you've got the A team at hand.
That's a fantastic four here. And if you want to contact them, you can contact them at 772-882-5700. Contact any one of the agents. If you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in your home, give them a call, and they're going to really help you understand what you can do to protect, with all of our partners, from the insurance to mortgages to Richard with ADT. It's just amazing the group of individuals we have with us. And we were at Kimberly from Decorating Down her place yesterday. It was just absolutely gorgeous, right on the water. And she was offering us to, after hours. She doesn't use it.
No, I get to rent that.
She's
wait, did I miss? What did I miss?
Yeah, we were at her place. So
she
she goes after hours. I don't use my facility. So if anybody from Keller Williams agents wants to use my place, just let me know ahead of time.
Wow.
I'm like, man, this is perfect.
What have you?
I could bring my dates there.
That'd be really good for your investor meetings. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she said no charge.
Wow.
But yeah, beautiful place. And Richard's been partnering with all our folks, and I tell you, it's a great thing to have people that we can trust. Yeah, that we can trust. And the important thing is if the agents cannot trust Richard and the different partners, there's no way we would recommend them to you, because we want word of mouth. I mean, that's what you guys base off of, right? I mean, you don't want to spend millions of dollars on advertising.
Right.
But word of mouth is the easiest, because all you have to do is a good job.
And both with word of mouth, there's automatic trust built.
Yeah.
You can't do that with advertisement.
No.
Richard, I have a quick question for you.
Certainly.
I tell a lot of people about you, and a lot of times I get the answer that, I know ADT, and I can get them online and stuff like that. Can you just explain the difference between your company? I know ADT is backed by several different vendors. Can you just explain that?
Sure, absolutely. And we are ADT, but our status in the ADT chain link is this. If you go out and buy a new Cadillac or whatever, an automobile, you buy it from General Motors, where you're buying it through the dealer. So you're buying it, it is GM, but you're buying it from a local entity that services the product that they're selling. Several years ago, ADT only serviced the metro areas, and they found a need to go into the little farm communities. Obviously, we're not one anymore, and that's what opened up the dealer program. But here's what's nifty with us. We are not involved with the cost factor of advertising on the NFL, the Today Show, all of these TV, all of this advertising they spend millions of dollars on. We do not get trickled down and charged for that. So therefore, we can offer our services. It's the same piece of pie. There isn't anything different. For less money, you've got a local entity you can go to. All of our installation people are not subcontractors; they're employees of the company. So it's a win-win situation. It's like buying a new Cadillac. Instead of buying it for $50,000, you're buying it for $20,000, but you still have a new Cadillac.
Right.
And I'm not picking on General Motors. I'm an old GM dealer, so that's the only reason I use that analogy. And I'm not plugging GM, but anyway, there's the variance between the corporate and the dealer structure of ADT.
Right.
That's it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And,
Nice savings.
Tom, I'd like to just throw in a little plug here, if I may.
Absolutely.
I know all of the individuals quite well that are there at the studio, and they're all top producers. But I'll tell you, you have to give them and the other agents at Keller Williams a pat on the back, and here's why. When they go to a person's house and ask that person, when they sell it, close on a deal, if they'd like to have their property protected, which they don't have to do, but think about this a second. That is a quality of individuals that Keller Williams has in that office as far as them being concerned about one thing and one thing only, the welfare of their clients.
Exactly.
That's
And
it.
I want to tell you that gives me chills up and down my spine, because most people want a commission or however they get paid, and they're gone. But, they realize that it's going to offer protection, peace of mind, which you've already mentioned.
Right.
It's going to offer them a discount on insurance, and it's going to create a bond that's more than likely going to have referrals come back to them as time passes.
That's it. And correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't it illegal for you guys to take any kind, the realtors, to take any kind of fee from Richard?
That's correct.
For you guys giving him leads? It's
That's
illegal,
correct.
right?
We have a trust factor
exactly.
with Richard.
So that
we
shows
know.
you that if you're willing to do something like that and make those recommendations, and there's zero monetary value involved in that for you, that you're not doing it for the
Right.
money. You're doing it because you care about your client.
And that's
comes
something-
down-
Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Andrew. Go ahead.
It comes down to customer service,
Yeah.
Tom. That's what we provide, because it's, we try not to be the one-hit wonders that are just going to sell your house and then run.
Right.
And if you have an
No
issue
vanilla
later
ices?
on, yeah, exactly. ice, But we try to provide a whole service.
He's-
Andrew's singing
That
over
was
here.
in your last video that I saw. Anyway, off topic, but customer service, and that's why we partner up with a lot of guys like Richard and Chris
Yeah.
Flaherty from Fidelity and Mary from the insurance company. These are people that we know that once we give the name, we feel comfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
We feel confident that they're going to be taken
And you
care
don't
of.
have to babysit them.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, we know them,
Absolutely.
we love them, and we trust them, and
Exactly.
that's it all.
And these
in a
people
nutshell.
are doing business in our own homes.
Yeah, absolutely.
as well.
That's a great thing. All right, Richard, well, just hold on for a minute there. We're going to go ahead and take a short break here, listen to some of our wonderful partners who are with us here. But you're listening to Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed TREU Radio. We have Richard Stratman with Protect Security, authorized ADT dealer, who's teaching us, how to protect one of our largest investments. I'm Tom Platania. We'll be right back. Question for you, Mike.
Customer service
On that
and
last
great rates.
break,
That's what you get with Atlantic
I had
Insurance Advisors. Remember,
zero
everyone's just one torrential downpour
lines
away from a flood.
on
And
the
with
last
rates
break.
as low as $129
And then as soon
per
as you
year,
flipped
why
that
would you
switch
not
and
get
we started
coverage?
talking,
Call 772
I had
233
audio
4444
again.
or
Did
email
something
flood
click
at
out or no?
atlanticinsurance.us. And save
Last time?
hundreds on all your insurance
Yeah.
needs. That's 772
Yeah, I can hear it. It just, it was weird last time because I just, like, the audio just died. There was, like, no lines. I was just asking if maybe something was going on.
Wondering how you're ever going to move all your belongings? Well, don't wonder. Call the trusted moving professionals from Mr. Small Move. Their staff of full-time movers are ready to take the stress out of your next move. Mr. Small Move will safely pack, move, then place and assemble your belongings at your new location. So if you're moving, call the trusted professionals at Mr. Small Move. For a free estimate, call 283-5540. That's 772-283-5540 for Mr. Small Move. Every 13 seconds, a home intrusion is committed in the United States, with property loss totals in the billions. Take action today to prevent it from happening to you with ADT, protecting homes and businesses for more than 136 years. Protect Security is your authorized ADT dealer on the Treasure Coast. Call Richard Stratman today at 772-708-2691. Protect Security and ADT, offering peace of mind security 24/7. Call today, Protect Security, 708-2691. Dramatic change invites invigorating new energy. Let Decorating Den Interiors create a dramatic change in your home's decor. They'll create a look that's important to you. Begin your home's gorgeous transformation by calling Decorating Den Interiors on the Treasure Coast at 692-8589. Visit their waterfront design studios on Southeast Osceola Street, downtown Stuart, and online at StewartDecorator.com. Has a recent foreclosure, bankruptcy, or short sale spoiled your credit? Fidelity Funding may be able to help. Their hometown lenders are specially trained to work with your credit history to find the perfect loan program and get you back on track. Even if credit is no problem, Fidelity Funding offers many dynamic loan programs. Call Fidelity Funding on the Treasure Coast at 772-237-5211. They work day in and out with realtors in your community to find you the house you love. Call 237-5211 for Fidelity Funding.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're listening to TREU Radio, TREU Radio, Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed. We're here with the beautiful Carol Morgan, Mr. Andrew Sesta, Mr. Scott McAllister. We got to think of a new name for him. No cameras in the bedroom McAllister or something like that. You know we're never going to let you live that one down. You realize that, right? And unfortunately, Mr. Farouk Ali is not able to be here with us. He had to go back up to New York. His mother-in-law passed away, so he's up there with his family. And it's a shame. You know, poor guy. You know, they were just up there because the mother-in-law was extremely ill. And then after all that nasty weather and everything like that, and then having to turn right around. But you know, our hearts and prayers go out to him. And
definitely.
Yeah, he is.
Thoughts are with you, Farouk.
Yeah, if you're listening, buddy, or if you ever listen back to us again through the show, Farouk, know that we're thinking of you, buddy. And Farouk is just an incredible agent, very very knowledgeable globally, and so you know that's a great thing is when we have an agent on here that really helps to complete the group. Who has all that international exposure versus just local. So if we have any investors or anybody looking at you, Farouk is definitely the gentleman we can talk to. And you can go to TREURadio.com, TREU Radio.com, and you can look at all of our Fantastic Four's bios. But without further, we actually have a caller on the line along with Mr. Richard Stratman. And good morning. We have Jane McAllister. Jane, how are you, young lady?
I am wonderful today. Thank you very much.
Now, did you call to stand up for Scott here with the cameras in the bedroom?
No.
Thanks, Mom.
I heard that, though. I actually called to give Richard an aha. I have referred him to several different people, and for instance, one of my really close friends, Debbie, and within 1 hour, she called me back. She said, you know, I heard from Richard right away.
Wow,
and
that quick.
It's so important for us as realtors to have someone that we can trust that will take customer service to the next level. And Richard does that 100% of the time.
Richard, is this costing you a lot of money with all these people saying great things about you? Did you have to dig deep into your pocket, or is this legitimate stuff?
Well, I was hoping on the next house I buy from Jane, I get a discount.
There you go.
It's just, I had to say it, Richard, that and all the help he's given us. We have a culture committee at Keller Williams, and we've taken on the seniors in Martin County this year, and Richard has stepped to the plate every time we have asked him to help us.
Richard was one of the seniors, or
that we give him.
Was Richard one of the seniors, or was he the one starting?
Well, I'm one of the seniors, I'll tell you that.
Well, I got a question for you folks. You know, I haven't been out there long doing real estate. At what point in the process do you really talk to your clients about Richard and about ADT, and what's kind of a trigger for you when you're out there in the field that says this is something?
Well, if you show a house that doesn't have an alarm system in it, certainly that a client is interested in buying, that would be the first point of contact we would recommend Richard to.
Okay, to the buyer, and
or during the home inspection process, you know, when you do notice that, you know, they have one, or you know, maybe they don't have one, or it's not being monitored, or it's not up to date. And a lot of people don't realize that, you know, ADT can come in no matter what the system is and, you know, retrofit or bring in their equipment and stuff like that.
Right.
Now, Richard, you are, you know, they talk about the more educated somebody is, the more that they can charge for their knowledge. And I'm sure, as young as you are, you have quite a bit of knowledge. So with that said, you probably charge quite a bit to come out and do a consultation with somebody for that, don't you?
Yeah, no, there's no interest on this fee, so don't let that. That's the first good news. And I think the fee is $0.
No, come on.
I think we're safe there.
You don't charge anything to come out and consult with someone.
No, absolutely not. No.
That's great.
That is, because, there's just about everybody else that comes out to a home, there's usually some type of a fee to do something.
Fee.
Service fee, service fee, consultation fee.
Well, gas is so expensive today.
That is awesome. So whether they decide to use your services or not, you don't backcharge them.
No, there is any fees, and as Andrew and Carol and Scott know, when we come out there, and when it's referrals from these outstanding agents, I take care of every one of them. There isn't anybody else that goes out there. And once again, if somebody thinks this is what they want, fine. But here's what we do: we go one step further. If they say, look, right now we aren't ready, that's all right, no issue at all. But what I like to do is give them a sheet of paper that does have about 10 to 12 items on it, what they can do around their house to help prevent an intrusion without a system.
Oh, so not only are you doing it for free, but you're leaving behind valuable information?
Yes.
Richard, that leads me to a good question. What are some of the most common entry points or areas that people should really look at?
Well, Andrew, that's a fantastic question, and of course the issue at hand right now with what's been going on has been these, and obviously your sliding glass doors in the back of the house.
Right.
And matter of fact, I've been out in St. Lucie West a couple of times this week. There was an incident over the weekend where somebody knocked the glass out of the sliding glass door and didn't move the frame of the window, and the system didn't activate. So we have, of course, glass break protectors that'll stop that. But these, I guess they call them the pillowcase bandits. I guess this group of individuals are becoming more and more savvy of ways to get into a house without activating an alarm, and that's what they've pursued at this point, was to start knocking the glass out of these sliding glass door windows. I'll tell you another great area around the house. A lot of people don't realize it. Everybody, and especially my wife, and I won't speak for any other female, don't end up with being put on the stand, but individuals that have foliage growing in front of these windows is one of the. It's a haven for somebody wanting to break in. You can stand behind this stuff. Nobody can see you. They can sit there and work for hours on end again if they need to, and there's not an issue with anybody detecting them.
Exactly.
So,
well, wouldn't the motion detectors have caught them when they came into the house?
Well, Carol, here's the deal, and think about this a second, if you would. Most individuals, now, this that happened over the weekend, these individuals came into a master bedroom. Most people. And these intruders are becoming more savvy with this. Do not put a motion detector in the bedroom. Think about it. Now we have them here at the house, our house, not a big deal. But most individuals don't take that path. And the thing that's a shame is the most vulnerable room in your house where everybody wants to go is the master bedroom.
Right.
They want weapons. There's jewelry, and just as most important, probably, any elderly person or person is taking medications.
Right.
So that's why even with a skeletal system, we always set one of those up to make sure if anybody is going to make a look around for the master bedroom, we're going to put a motion in place where they're going to be caught.
Exactly.
So that is a major issue at this point, and it probably will be for the now.
And I also recommend, besides going with the ADT and Richard is what I did in my house is I actually, what the fat heads are that they hang on the wall?
Yep.
I actually took my picture and created a fat head and put it on my sliding glass door. And I tell you, it's an amazing deterrent.
Them away?
It scares them away the minute they come through there. It's it's worse than an attack dog.
Just admit it. You just like looking at
That's
yourself.
true. Why do you think I'm on the radio? I like looking at myself, listening to myself talk. I go to sleep at night. I put the show on, right when I'm going to bed, and I just listen to myself. No.
One of the things though that I want to make a point to. I'm working with a lot of new home buyers, and it's so overwhelming. Anyone who works with buyers, and everyone here does, is that they don't know. They're so overwhelmed. Like, I have security to worry about. I have decorating to worry about. I have, the insurance, all these different things. We've all done the work here. That's one of the reasons we're talking to the people we're talking to, because these are people that we trust. We've done the research. We know not only are they good business people, but they're good community people. So when you come to us as realtors, we can turn around and say, we'll handle this stuff about, we're going to educate you, and we're going to give you the best options.
Hey, Richard, I want to thank you for being on the show today. We're running out of time. And I tell you, Richard Stratman with ProTech Security, Authorized ADT. If you'd like to get in touch with Richard, give us a call at 772-882-5700. And I tell you, Richard, we always end the show, and it couldn't be a better time. We always end the show with a Zig Ziglar quote. And it's I just love it that you're on, and I really respected that, man, and I have a lot of respect for you too. So our quote for the day here on Treasure Coast Real Estate Unleashed: don't count the things you do the things that count.
Nice.
Very good.
Carol Morgan, Andrew Sesta, Scott McAllister, Richard Stratman, Tom Platania. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Thursday on TREU Radio.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you. Have a great day.